You ever hear about the night a UFO landed in Kansas and left behind a glowing ring that wouldn't fade? This wasn't just flattened grass or a story passed around the diner. It was physical, glowing soil that baffled scientists, police, and even a world-famous astronomer. This is the story of the Delphos UFO incident, one of the strangest and best documented encounters in Kansas history. It was November the 2nd, 1971, a chilly Tuesday evening in the quiet farming town of Delphos, about 35 miles north of Salina. 16-year-old Ronnie Johnson was outside tending his family's sheep. The night was calm, almost eerily still, until a strange sound broke the silence, a low humming, like machinery coming to life. Ronnie turned toward the sound, and the entire pasture exploded with light. Hovering just above the ground was a donut-shaped craft, about 8 feet across and 10 feet high, glowing white and blue. He later said it looked like an electric welder hanging in midair. It landed among the trees, breaking off branches. Terrified, Ronnie ran for the farmhouse, shouting for his parents. They didn't believe him at first, until they stepped outside and saw it too. A blinding light rose from the field, rumbling like thunder as it vanished toward the south. When the family reached the spot where it had hovered, they found something incredible. A perfect circular ring, about 8 feet across, glowing with a faint fluorescent light. The soil inside the ring was dry and crusted, even though the rest of the ground was muddy from recent rain. The trees nearby looked scorched. The air smelled faintly metallic. The Johnsons took photographs of the ring that night. When Sheriff Ralph Enlow arrived to investigate, he was skeptical, until he saw it himself. He said, "I have no reason to doubt their story. The boys seemed quite sincere. I'm not much of a believer in unidentified objects, but—" And then he stopped, leaving the sentence unfinished. That hesitation says everything. Within days, 2 local investigators, Frank Shrimplin and William Hertig, visited the Johnson farm. They took soil samples, photographed the site, and examined the trees that had been damaged. Shrimplin reported that when Mr. and Mrs. Johnson touched the glowing soil, their hands and arms went numb. The feeling lasted through the night. Weeks later, after snow had fallen, the ringed area remained completely dry, untouched by moisture, while everything else was muddy. Laboratory tests showed that the soil had turned hydrophobic, meaning it repelled water. It also contained tiny white crystalline particles scientists couldn't identify. The case drew the attention of Dr. J. Allen Hynek of Northwestern University, the same astronomer, who inspired close encounters of the third kind. His research team visited Delphos and cataloged the case as a close encounter of the second kind, meaning the UFO left behind physical trace evidence. In the years that followed, the Johnson family continued to experience strange effects. They reported anxiety, nightmares, and in Ronnie's case, what he described as psychic abilities, feelings of knowing things before they happened. Skeptics dismissed it as imagination or trauma. But the fact remains, this quiet Kansas farm became one of the few places in the world where a UFO allegedly left something behind that scientists could actually test. More than 50 years later, the glowing ring is gone, but the mystery hasn't faded. The photos, the soil samples, and the sheriff's cautious words are all that remain. Was it a prank? An experimental craft? Or something not from this earth at all? Whatever it was, it changed one Kansas family forever and left a mark that no one could explain. This story is based on original reporting from the Wichita Eagle, November 18, 1971, the Valley Falls Vindicator, December 23, 1971, the Emporia Gazette, December 29, 1971, and the Salina Public Library's 2023 article, UFOs and Kansas, which includes citations from the Salina Journal and investigator Ted Phillips' report, Delphos, A Close Encounter of the Second Kind.
The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everybody. That's one of the most interesting UFO stories I think I've ever read.
That was weird. Yeah.
It
Well,
was.
And that they got the soil samples and did so many things.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. I'm surprised there's not more documentaries about that one.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It is.
Hey, Stone Hobbit. We got
Stone
Avion, others.
Hobbit.
I love it.
That's probably one of the best screen names I've ever heard.
I like it.
Well, thank you, Stone Hobbit.
That's very cool.
How's everyone on this almost Thanksgiving?
Not bad.
Good.
Y'all moved in now, El?
Yes, finally.
Good.
All as you see, all the purple has been set up.
Very nice.
And it's this is a nice place. It's in a nice little gated community, and it's safe, it's quiet, and it's got some pretty good amenities, so we're very content here.
Well, last week we weren't able to do the show because I was off ghost hunting, and I wanted to share some of the images with y'all, but it has been uploading for the past 3 days, so it's going to take a while. But I had never done anything like that before, and it was very, very interesting.
Wow.
I used what they call an SLS camera.
Okay.
And I'm putting together like a 45-minute documentary, fun, entertaining sort of thing, and looking for some skeptics to debunk some of this. But anyway, on the SLS, I had put the camera on a tripod out in a hall where they said there was activity that went back and forth with this hall. And of course, they get these little strips of light on the floor and whatever, and that was like going off. And then I just went off into the room to talk to these other folks with the, that were conducting this ghost hunt. Then I looked at my footage later, and something had been moving my camera around. And I don't know somebody could have snuck in there, but all of us, to my knowledge, were in this one room and the door was locked. And then you see this figure walking across the hall. And then the other thing was I was telling them that I kept, because once in a while I'm a little bit psychic, and I wouldn't say I'm consistent or would even call myself one, but I can tune into things sometimes. And I was telling her there's something about bagpipes because I could hear them. And so we get into this one area where bagpipes.
It was an annoying ghost.
Well, this was a train depot. Well, it turned out there was this like little building next to it that we went into, and during World War I, they would drop off all of the deceased there at this part and then take them off. And so she started playing bagpipes in there, like, the taps kind of music. And all these lights went off and all this stuff just went wild because it didn't work on anything except for the bagpipes. So I have this SLS camera going, and you could literally see something, but it's laying parallel, like it's a corpse or something. But it moves up and down. It's going to be an interesting video. I was really quite surprised, actually. I was not expecting anything. So it was interesting. So stay tuned for that. I can...
Crystal Blue Persuasion. Sorry.
No, it does make you start singing it.
So her dad was in Salina, Kansas in the 1950s when there was an Air Force base there. There's some UFO kind of stuff about that area, too. So with that, let me bring up our little presentation for El's tremendous reading voice.
Okay. UFOs, cryptids, and weirdness. Would you expect anything less from the Cosmic Fold? Let's take a trip down the rest of the Kansas Paranormal Highway and talk about the Delphos UFO, 1971.
Welcome, abnormal.
This has got a rating of, hello, Abnormal Investigations. Very good to have you here. This has got a rating of very high credibility. Credibility ratings were based on combination of witness reliability, documentation, and physical evidence. And high credibility cases typically include multiple independent witnesses, contemporary reporting in newspapers or official records, and in some instances, physical traces or details or government investigation files. These events also showed consistent details across retellings that often occurred in locations with repeated activity. Moderate credibility events tend to come from long-standing local oral history, multiple anecdotal reports or investigations by paranormal groups, but lacked strong enough physical evidence or formal documentation. Finally, low credibility or folkloric cases were those submitted mainly by single witnesses, unverifiable anecdotes, symbolic or mythic storytelling, traditions, lore, modern interpretations with inconsistent details. These legends still enrich Kansas paranormal landscape, but are not treated as historically verifiable. So, what do we got? What do we got queued up here?
Well, we've got another comment. We've got some Kansas folks here tonight. Very cool.
Yay!
I live south of Coffeyville in Kansas and Oklahoma. Coffeyville, Kansas and Oklahoma. The last few years I've seen the weird lights in sky towards Kansas. We used to never see those. Yeah, those are becoming a little bit more prevalent.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, that first story just was mind-blowing to me, especially when you read the reports. I have to find the one from the astronomer guy and put that together, because when you have actual scientists looking at this stuff, it really kind of legitimizes it a bit for me.
The thing with the soil, shedding, not shedding water, it was
repelling it.
Repelling water. That's very interesting.
That was
and the fact
cool.
that they got kind of numb when they touched the soil. I mean, I don't know what would create that. I don't know. The only thing that I could think of that may have an effect on soil would be a lightning strike, but that would have been reported. Yeah.
Something like that close, and doesn't explain the ring either. 1970s Western Kansas UFO wave. This is high credibility. Lifetime experience in New Zealand. Stone Hobbit. I love that name. Throughout the 1970s, rural Kansas was ground zero for a wave of UFO reports. Farmers described silent disc-shaped lights hovering over fields, while sheriffs in Dighton and Dodge City logged dozens of official sightings. The Oklahoma newspaper chronicled these encounters, noting eerie consistency in object descriptions and flight patterns. Though explanations range from experimental aircraft to mass hysteria, the incidents positioned western Kansas as one of the Midwest's UFO hotspots. And one of the sources, I guess, is this Oklahoma newspaper.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Bo, does Al sound kind of staticky to you, or is it just me?
Oh no!
I think it's Al, because you and I were testing before Al arrived, and we cleared each other. So the static, I can only assume it's coming from Al. Sorry, honey.
That's okay. Hang on.
Well, while he's doing that, I was surprised at how much goes on in Kansas. Well, thank you, Stone Hobbit. We'd love to hear about your experiences, too, if you've had lifetime ones, because people who gravitate to the show tend to be experiencers, so we'd love to hear your story. Okay, you talking?
Yeah, is it any better?
Way better. Yes.
Okay, well, let me see if
Very good.
I can turn it up there. All right, we'll try that one. This is a different microphone. It's the one that's actually built into the camera instead of my usual here. I don't know that, but anyway, let's continue on here. The 19 between 1903, dozens of Kansas.
You're chopping out, Al.
What?
It sounds like it's
Wow.
warped real slow and you're chopping out.
Yeah.
Hold
Yield.
on.
Ooh,
All right.
It's
Lurch.
the
Any better?
UFOs. They're coming to get us.
Geez, I don't know what the problem is with this.
Oh my God, we need to have you on the
Oh,
show,
wow.
Abnormal
Is that any
Investigations.
better?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Abnormal
probably gonna-
Investigations has had
Crop circle.
experiences, and their family had a crop circle in the 90s. I would love to have you as a guest on the show because that's fascinating.
Yeah,
Wow,
it
Yeah.
is.
cool.
It is. So we're gonna try this, Mike. See if that works any better. Between
That sounds
1973
good.
in 1978, dozens of Kansas ranches reported surgically precise cattle deaths, which were linked by UFO investigators to aerial phenomena. Their accounts became part of FBI animal mutilation files, and the source of this is actually the FBI.
Wow.
This
Yeah.
whole thing really shocked me about Kansas. I was not expecting this when I was doing the research. It's like, wow,
Right?
they've got a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Now they've got some interesting cryptids. Whoops. Well, we need to put this in first.
It's a cryptid.
It's a cryptid. Those are very cool. Those glasses are very cool.
Yeah.
That's that hat we were gonna. Bo, you're supposed to be making us those hats.
Tinfoil
I
hats.
was going to make a video about tinfoil hats and being cosmically disconnected.
Anyway, there's your pattern.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Well, it says here that in November of 2024, Kansas got officially weird and proudly so. Humanities, is that right? Yeah, Humanities, Kansas. Is that the name of a town? Humanities?
No, it's a charitable group.
Okay, Humanities, Kansas. Got you. Handed nearly 12 grand to the Salina Art Center to launch High Strangeness, Encounters with the Unexplained in Kansas and Beyond, an exhibit dedicated to all the UFOs, glowing sky noodles, glowing sky. That is a great name for a rock band.
The glowing sky noodles.
It's great. Mysterious lights and I swear I'm not crazy, but stories Kansans have been quietly hoarding for decades, led by project director Misty Serene and guest curator Ksenia Gerstein. You almost got me. The exhibit ran from May to August in 2025 and featured UFO-inspired photography by Hugo Zalata Romero, some lovingly enhanced for emotional punch, and a fascinating audio-visual piece by the late Susan Hiller, one of the first artists who ever looked at UFO sightings and said, yeah, that's art. All of this came at a perfect time because the world finally stopped laughing at UFO witnesses. The Pentagon has logged over 500 unexplained sightings since 2004. Congress held hearings in 2023 to tell everyone to quit mocking experiences, and scholars are now admitting that, okay, maybe millions of people haven't been hallucinating the exact same shiny objects since the 1940s.
Unless they're eating, what are those things? Sky noodles?
Sky noodles.
Glowing sky noodles. Ladies and gentlemen, opening up for Aerosmith is the glowing sky noodles. I love it, man.
Or a new
do
kind of
too.
ramen? That would be
Right?
fun. So here's your enigma. And it's kind of that same pattern we've been seeing where everything like pops up with all the drones. So of course people are sighting, but look at how it's like going up again out there in
Yeah.
Kansas.
But you know, you got to think of it this way. You don't have to, but I think of it this way. If no one's attention is being focused in the sky, or very few people's in what do you call it? You're not going to really have as many reports. The drones are causing people to look up more than
Yeah.
they normally would. So, I mean, if you just flesh out the numbers, you're going to have more people looking. You're going to have more sightings of these unidentified
Right.
aerial phenomenon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, but it's pretty cool. And Kansas has got a lot of, that prairie and a good sky view out
wide
there.
open
So,
spaces. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sinkhole Sam, Inman, Kansas, 1952. High credibility. Stone Hobbit says, well, the bottom half of his writing is cut off on my screen, so I can't read that.
Well, somebody's hearing an echo.
It might be me.
I have nothing on. Nothing.
All
Yeah.
I have is my microphone, and
Well, it's not as bad as the last time, so let's just kind of keep
that
going.
might be a little bit better. I don't know. I
It
turned my
is.
volume down a little bit. 67 years ago, a young Mennonite farm boy named Bert Newfield tried to shoot the most Kansas monster ever reported, Sinkhole Sam. The giant wildebeest said to haunt the big sinkhole outside a tiny Inman. Sightings began in 1952, describing a snake-like creature anywhere from 15 to 30 feet long and roughly the width of a 1951 REO Speedwagon tire, or roughly 18 inches. It's weird that I know how big a 1951 REO Speedwagon tire is. Naturally, this set off a prairie-sized panic in a town of 500 quiet farmers who suddenly didn't know whether to milk the cows or call the National Guard. Things escalated when a mischievous, circus-loving newspaper reporter showed up, inventing a scientific expert named Dr. Erasmus P. Quattlebaum, and declared the creature to be a vegetarian Foopengurkel.
Put that in just for you.
Thank you so much for that. That little joke brought monster hunters from every direction, all hoping to catch a glimpse of Kansas's very own sea serpent, the Foopengurkel, preferably with their car windows rolled up for safety. The legend only grew from there. Reporters compared Sinkhole Sam to Loch Ness. Respectable citizens swore they saw him grinning at them. And Bert Newfield reluctantly became a local folklore hero, even though his family wanted nothing to do with the whole embarrassing affair. Cryptozoologists later weighed in, suggesting Sam might have been anything from a giant gopher snake to a prairie version of the Mongolian death worm. Which is exactly as comforting as it sounds. Okay.
Blowing
Whether Sinkhole
serpents
Mongolian
are
death worm, by the way, is another real great name for a rock. Whether Sinkhole Sam was a misidentified snake, an escaped python, or something far stranger lurking in Kansas's accidental lake, no one ever proved he didn't exist. And as the locals like to say, even if the creature wasn't real, the legend absolutely is. I love it. Sinkhole Sam.
and yet another
And
one.
another serpent-ish thing, another high credibility account of the Kingman serpent from the 1960s. Back in the late 60s, Kingman County found itself stalked by a supersized serpent that locals insisted was anywhere from as big as my arm to as thick as a full-grown man, or 23 REO Speedwagon tires. Witnesses swore this dirty, brown, shiny-skinned monster slithered around the Kingman swamp. One farmer said it tripped his horse. A truck driver stopped because he thought the thing might dent his truck. And another man claimed he'd seen it more than once, which is the Midwest way of saying, I know what I saw. The legend grew big enough that in 1969, a local dentist, Dr. N.E. Allison, decided he had enough and organized a full-on community snake hunt, as one does. On August 10th, over 750 people showed up, including pros, amateurs, folks on horseback, and even 2 airplanes, because nothing says Kansas like an aerial search for a giant mystery newt. We found absolutely nothing, of course, and a second hunt in 1970 produced the same result: 0 snakes, lots of sunburns. Most experts now think the Kingman serpent was probably an escaped Burmese python or boa constrictor, not a prehistoric monster cruising the prairie. But then again, you never really know what's hiding in the Kansas swamp, right?
That makes
I love their
sense to me.
cryptid stories out there. They're good.
I know,
Oh
right?
my god.
Definitely not wine. Bigfoot. Statewide. These are more high credibility reports. While Kansas, isn't exactly Bigfoot country, at least not on paper, Try telling that to the nearly 50 witnesses who reported seeing the big hairy wanderer strolling around the Sunflower State. According to the Bigfoot Research Organization, which I know now is the BRO, Kansas quietly racks up more Bigfoot reports than any other cryptid in the state, even though experts like to call it a low activity zone. Sedgwick and Kingman counties lead the pack with 4 sightings each, followed by Crawford and Jackson counties with 3. Apparently, Bigfoot never got the memo about staying in the Pacific Northwest. Most Kansas encounters happen the same way. Someone's driving down a lonely stretch of highway when a giant upright creature steps out like it's trying to flag a ride. Fishermen have spotted him too. Nothing like casting your line and realizing the thing watching you from the bank has a size 18 foot. And speaking of feet, Kansas has had several sets of mysterious tracks show up over the years. Even stranger, some reports describe a white or light gray Bigfoot, which raises all sorts of questions like, is he aging gracefully? Or did he wander through a flour mill? Sightings span from the 1970s all the way to 2021, proving that whatever he is, Bigfoot seems to think Kansas is worth the occasional vacation.
Bov, can you put your headphones on? Because I muted you and the echo stopped.
Oh, so it's you.
Well, you're starting to get crackly again, El.
I am. Wait, I think I know how to fix that. See, what I do is I go over to audio, and then I swap to a different microphone. That one. Then I swap back. Is that any better?
Yes, the crackly stopped.
Okay.
And then once Bov is set up there, the echo should stop.
All right, cool.
Okay, we'll see. How's that?
Sounds really good.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I had no idea.
Yeah,
It's
Bove
the
ain't
wonder-
Bove without those cat ear headphones, man. The Wendigo tribal folklore. Wow, that is interesting looking AI thing there. Look at the claws. When most people picture the Wendigo, got it. Wendigo. They think of icy forests up north, Canada, and maybe a snow-covered moose running for its life. But Kansas tribes like the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi also believed in this terrifying man-eating giant. As Linda Godfrey puts it in American Monsters, the Wendigo is one of the scariest and most widespread monsters in indigenous lore, and Kansas was not spared. According to tradition, a Wendigo begins as a human who commits serious sins like greed, selfishness, or worst of all, cannibalism. The punishment, you turn into a towering, starving ice beast with antlers, a frozen heart, and a hunger that can never be satisfied. Some tribes describe it as a skeletal werewolf. Others says it stretches 30 feet tall and crunches through the woods like a nightmare on stilts. And deep inside the creature, trapped where the heart should be, the last flicker of the human it once was still suffers, usually permanently. Modern stories occasionally flare up that sound a little too, let me start that over. Modern stories occasionally flare up that sound a little too Wendigo-like for comfort. One horrifying example happened in 2008 when a man on a Greyhound bus in Canada suddenly attacked a fellow passenger in a shocking act of violence. Newspapers even compared it to a Wendigo possession. Wendigo. It's like Benedict Cumberbatch trying to say the word penguin.
I love
one of them things. Whether or not that was truly a case of the creature's spirit taking hold, the legend has always served a very practical purpose. It kept kids out of the woods and reminded adults to behave themselves. In short, the Wendigo is a supernatural PSA. Don't be selfish. Don't be greedy. And for heaven's sakes, don't eat people.
You know, that's like a creepy version of the Skinwalker, like a totally creepy one.
That's beyond creepy. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that is creepy.
It's pretty gross.
Was that? Oh no.
Bo, what happened?
What was your question, Bo? You have to ask before you get
I
to
wanted to know if that was an AI image or if that was.
It's AI. It's
Okay,
AI, definitely.
Oh no.
As Bo would say, go ahead, Bo, say it.
This is messed up. This is just wrong.
Kate Bender, Labette County. The Bender family held seances and claimed psychic powers, but later discoveries revealed a truly creepy tale. Video follows, thanks to the Weird Darkness's Creative Commons license. That's a drawing by Kate Bender. That's a drawing of Kate Bender from the Kansas Historical Society.
Okay, Bob, this
That
one's
was
just
great.
wrong. Here it comes.
This is just wrong.
And Montgomery, in Kansas, were experiencing an alarming number of missing persons. The investigation passed several times through the cabin of the Benders, a family of German immigrants who ran a small grocery store and restaurant outside of Cherryvale, Kansas, but the Benders appeared completely innocent. When authorities found the cabin abandoned one day, the picture changed. A closer look revealed 9 murdered corpses, the handiwork of the bloody Benders. Around 1870, the Bender family built a small cabin outside of Cherryvale, Kansas, about 50 miles north of the Oklahoma border. William Bender and his wife, sometimes referred to as Ma Bender, were in their 60s. Thomas and Joanna, better known as Kate, were in their 20s. They were German immigrants, all spoke with accents, and the elder Benders spoke little English. It is unclear exactly how these 4 were related. Most accounts say that Thomas and Kate were the son and daughter of William Bender and his wife, but Thomas was also known as John Gebhardt and is sometimes referred to as Kate's husband. Other accounts say that none of them were actually named Bender and that only the mother and daughter were related. The men are described as large, coarse-appearing men. The description of Kate ranges from a large, masculine, red-faced woman to good-looking, well-formed, rather bold in appearance. A number of sources agree that she had a ruddy complexion and she may have been a redhead. The Benders kept a small grocery store in the front of the cabin, selling staples such as tobacco, crackers, sardines, candles, powder, and shot. They also provided meals for travelers. Though they kept to themselves, the Benders attended church and town meetings and seemed to be an ordinary rural family. The only exception was Kate, who professed to being clairvoyant, giving public lectures on spiritualism and advertising in local newspapers her ability to heal disease, cure blindness, fits, and deafness. In 1873, citizens of Labette County became concerned over the inordinate number of missing persons in their community. Neighboring counties were experiencing losses as well. In March 1973, Dr. William York from Onion Creek, Montgomery County, came in search of a man named Lauscher and his infant daughter who had traveled in the region the previous winter and were never heard from again. Dr. York never made it home either. Dr. York was from a very prominent family, and in April, his brother, Colonel A. M. York, came to Labette County leading a party of 50 citizens of Montgomery County. They searched unsuccessfully for the missing doctor, stopping several times at the Benders' cabin. On one occasion, they asked Kate to use her clairvoyant powers to help with the search, but she had no information for them. The next time someone stopped at the Benders' cabin, it appeared to be deserted. Their wagon was missing, and a calf they were raising had died of neglect. The authorities in Cherryvale were notified and went back to check on the house. Everything seemed to be in order. Nothing was missing but clothes and bedding. But a thorough search of the house began to reveal the Benders' horrible secret. Near the table where guests were served was a trap door, and the foul-smelling hole beneath the door was clotted with blood. The ground in an orchard near the house had been carefully plowed, but one small section was noticeably indented. The ground was dug up, revealing the decomposing body of Dr. York. His skull had been crushed and his throat had been cut. Before nightfall, 7 more bodies were extracted, and another was found the next day. Most were badly decomposed but were still identified by clothing and jewelry. They were W. F. McCrotty of Cedarville, D. Brown of Cedarville, Henry F. McKenzie of Hamilton County, Indiana, Mr. Lauscher and his baby daughter from Independence, 2 unidentified men, and 1 child believed to be an 8-year-old girl. Another body previously found in Drum Creek was also attributed to the Benders. All but the baby had fractured skulls and slit throats. It was believed that the baby was suffocated when buried alive with her father. The 8-year-old girl's body had been badly mutilated. The travelers were murdered for their money. The amounts stolen by the Benders ranged from 40 cents to $2,600, along with horses and wagons. From the conditions of the bodies and the arrangement of the house, the authorities were able to surmise how the killings were done. The table where customers took their meals was in a small booth formed by cloth partitions on both sides. The partitions were close enough to the back of the chairs that, when sitting upright, the heads of the diners would indent the cloth. The male Benders would wait behind the cloth partitions, and when the opportunity presented itself, would smash their victims' skulls with stonebreakers' hammers. The bodies were thrown through the trap door into what one book called the slaughter pen, where the throats were cut to guarantee death. After dark, the bodies were removed and buried in the orchard. This speculation was verified, to an extent, by a Mr. Wetzel of Independence, Kansas, who had read Kate's advertisement and traveled to the Benders with his friend, Mr. Gordon, seeking a cure for neuralgia. Kate examined Wetzel and expressed confidence in her ability to effect a permanent cure, but invited them to dine first. For some reason, the 2 men rose from the table and decided to eat their dinners at the counter instead. This caused a change in Kate's behavior. She became caustic and abusive toward them. They saw the 2 Bender men emerge from behind the partitions. Wetzel and Gordon became suspicious and decided to leave, a decision that probably saved their lives. When the news of the murders spread through Labette County, it whipped the citizens into a frenzy. They demanded vengeance and formed vigilance committees to hunt down the Benders. The vigilantes went first to the home of a man named Brockman, another German immigrant who had briefly been a partner of Mr. Bender's. They put a rope around his neck and threatened to hang him if he would not confess. When Brockman swore he knew nothing, they hanged him from a tree. But when he was at the point of death, they lowered him down and questioned him again. When he still had nothing to tell him, they hung him again. This torture was repeated 3 times before the posse left him semi-conscious, lying on the ground. The search for the Benders continued, but though the governor of Kansas offered a $2,000 reward for their capture, the Benders were never brought to justice. One investigation determined that they took a train from Thayer to Chanute, where John and Kate got off and took the MK&T train south to Red River in Indian Territory. Here they met up with the elder Benders and traveled through Texas and New Mexico. Other residents of Labette County told a different story. While researching the Benders' story for his 1910 book, Celebrated Criminal Cases of America, San Francisco Captain of Police Thomas S. Duke contacted police chiefs of Cherryvale and Independence, Kansas. And this is how they responded. Cherryvale, Kansas, June 14, 1910. Dear Sir, yours just received. It so happened that my father-in-law's farm joins the Bender farm, and he helped locate the bodies of the victims. I often tried to find out from him what became of the Benders, but he only gave me a knowing look and said he guessed they would not bother anyone else. There was a vigilance committee organized to locate the Benders, and shortly afterward, Old Man Bender's wagon was found by the roadside riddled with bullets. You'll have to guess the rest. I am respectfully yours, J. N. Kramer, Chief of Police. Independence, Kansas, June 14, 1910. Dear Sir, in regard to the Bender family, I will say that I have lived here 40 years, and it is my opinion that they never got away. A vigilance committee was formed, and some of them are still here, but will not talk, except to say that it would be useless to look for them, and they smile at the reports of some of the family having been located. The family nearly got my father. He intended to stay there one night, but he became suspicious, and although they tried to coax him to stay, he hitched up his team and left. Regretting that I cannot give you more information, I am yours respectfully, D. M. Van Cleve, Chief of Police. Several times, suspected members of the Bender family were arrested in other parts of the country and brought back to Kansas to be tried. Most notably, in 1890, 2 women were arrested in Michigan and alleged to be Ma Bender and Kate. Their attorneys had affidavits proving that they were Mrs. Elmira Griffith and Mrs. Sarah E. Davis and were in Michigan between 1870 and 1874. After a habeas corpus hearing, they were released from the Labette County Jail. The true fate of the Bender family remains a mystery.
That's
Ain't
a
that something?
horrible story. I don't
Isn't that
like
awful?
at
Be
all.
careful the psychic you call. It's not, those people were really messed up. And that was
Yeah.
like in the height
God.
of like all this spiritualism and all this stuff going on back then.
Yeah.
So then I saw something about maybe a year ago they were reporting out of Kansas that one of the universities there, they've started a whole archaeological dig around the remains of this old Bender farmhouse and inn, to try to figure out exactly what went on, because there are these stories that maybe the locals just did away with them. But this is brutal and horrible, just so disgusting.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was very disturbing.
Extremely. So there was that one.
There was that one.
And that was just wrong.
That was
Yes, I knew you'd
That
say
was
that.
just
That's wrong.
On every
Hey.
level.
How about a cryptid extra? Not in Kansas. Wyoming just added a new line to its resume. The first place on Earth to cough up dinosaurs with hooves. Paleontologists studying 2 mummified Edmontosauruses, affectionately named Ed Jr. and Ed Sr., announced that these duck-billed dinosaurs didn't just walk around on scaly reptile feet. They apparently trotted like prehistoric horses. The fossils were found more than a century ago near Wyoming by the South Dakota border. But thanks to modern research and an exceptionally flattering layer of clay, scientists finally confirmed what they had long suspected. Some dinosaurs had hooves built for high-speed getaways. Lead researcher Paul Serrano put it, Wyoming has given us the clearest, best picture of what a giant dinosaur actually looked like. Sorry, Hollywood. The secret behind discovery? Mummy-style preservation. Ed Jr. and Ed Sr. were buried so quickly, wrapped in a layer of clay thinner than your favorite spa facial, that their skin, scales, wrinkles, spikes, and yes, hooves were all captured in stunning detail. This part of East Central Wyoming is apparently a hot spot for dino mummies, thanks to ancient rivers that acted like nature's emergency fossilizing service. The result is a vivid picture of a duck-billed dinosaur sporting fleshy crest, textured skin, and hooved toes. Proof that 66 million years ago, the West wasn't just wild, it was stylish.
But, seeing that kind of thing in that picture also comes from Wyoming Public Radio and kind of a reconstruction of what they found. And so it makes me think with some of these cryptid stories, it's like, they could be ancestors of some sort from all kinds of weird things that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dane and I were talking earlier about, he says, my father said when he was out there, they archaeologist dug up a whale. Daddy marveled at that and would always say, there's no telling how old this earth really is, right?
Yeah.
Yep, totally
Yeah.
true.
Well, Dane and I were talking earlier, and there are creatures on our planet that we've never even seen. Undocumented.
Exactly.
Same thing with the ocean. Ain't no telling what's down there. We've mapped a
I know.
very small percentage of the ocean. So,
Yep.
you never know.
Your mic is acting up again, Al.
Okay. Hang on. Yeah, I've got to find a solution to that. I'm on. The problem is hang on.
It looks like my goats. Maybe goats and
that?
cows
That-
and stuff. Yes,
clear
that's
it up?
better.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the I'm on the Mac. I'm back on the Mac. It wasn't happening when I was on the PC, which is sitting right next to me. So
Joyce says that's why I don't go
exactly
into
why
the
I don't
ocean.
go in.
Right on, right on.
Mm-mm. Well, Kansas brought the creatures, the crafts, and the lovely folks who definitely shouldn't run boarding houses. Hold on to your seats. Kentucky is just ahead, and rumor says it's delightfully haunted.
So that wrapped up our Kansas Paranormal Highway. But you're right, we don't know what's in the oceans,
No, we have no idea what's
and then
down
what
there.
has evolved from these. I mean, if dinosaurs were duck-billed and had hooves,
Yeah,
because I've always heard that birds are kind of like evolved from
sure. Yeah,
dinosaurs.
from dinosaurs.
But
Yeah,
what else could be out there now?
it's you know what? It's
Yeah.
wait a minute.
He
He
was
was
in
in
awe
awe
that.
that Kansas once had been an ocean. Yeah,
Well, it's kind of
that's
like our area too, Joy. It's there's or no, this is crystal blue. Sorry about that. Um, we've got the petrified forest near here.
Yep.
yeah,
And you could tell how much was like it was so tropical, and now it just looks like a dry desert. But apparently, a meteor hit and it killed off all the dinosaurs and all these like jungle trees. And
yeah.
um, the artist renditions are truly remarkable when you see what it used to be. I would love to have a time machine and just go through and see what everything was like.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
yeah, definitely would. And the Mariana Trench should not really be called the deepest point in the ocean. It should actually be called the deepest point that we have discovered so far.
I agree.
Yes, the known deepest
The
point or
known,
something.
yes, the known deepest part. So there you go.
Exactly. So Al, out in your area, did the Northern Lights, the Aurealis? Did you see the Northern Light show last
I
week out
myself
there?
did not, but I think if you went to a little further north, we're at the foothills. Atlanta's in the foothills of the Appalachian chain.
Hmm.
So literally an hour north of me, you're in Blue Ridge, an hour and a half maybe, you're in Blue Ridge. And I'm sure maybe at those elevations, they might have gotten something. But I don't know. We're pretty far south, though, from, the rest of the planet, world.
Well,
Country.
they were visible here, although they weren't, here where I live, but 20, 30 miles away, people were seeing them, and
Yeah.
that's pretty unusual for them to be in Arizona.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
Georgia, for
that's
that matter.
right.
Yeah, and Florida, some parts of Florida saw them too. And
Yeah.
so they're talking about these huge like solar flares that are causing this. So this could become interesting.
It
But
could very
anyway,
well.
that was all I had for our last stretch of the paranormal highway for Kansas. I'm going to put some people in our chat had some interesting stories to share.
Mhm.
So I'm putting my email in the chat if anyone wants to contact me and be a guest on the show because
Oh, yeah.
we love hearing your stories, and typically we have the phone working but I just didn't have time to get it done for today. So, yes, you're right, solar storms go in cycles. So but anyway, it was really cool, all the lights, just actually really
I would have
close
liked to have
by
seen that.
here.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Yeah, it was pink in rural Nebraska. It was kind of a pink color here too, sort of a reddish pink, real vibrant, beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was quite neat. Well, anyone have anything else here or?
No, I'm
nothing
good.
that I can think of.
Something
I'm
came
looking
across my
forward to
Facebook
Kentucky.
feed from someone I don't know about, ironically, a family who had moved from Nevada to some town in Kansas, and the house they bought was a funeral home. And of course, Facebook being Facebook decided to refresh my feed in the middle of reading the damn article. So now I can't
Oh,
find it.
no shit, you can't find it. Oh, that sucks.
It does
Oh
that. It just
man.
refreshes my feed with no rhyme or reason or warning. I'm like,
Well, and it's doing that to our sound stuff too. I notice. I think that's part of what's going on with these echoes and cracklies, and it's like the AI is like infiltrated everything. It's messing up
yeah.
all of our
Well, I'm going to do a
equipment.
dive this week on my my AV system here because Macs are generally a little bit better when it comes to that, audio visual. And I've got a very good microphone here.
Oh, yeah.
So my camera's glitching out too. It's flashing. It's not ghost.
It's the ghosts, Al. It's the ghosts. They're still chasing you around from your last
They
place.
followed me from the amusement park. No.
So do you want to, I know the holiday's coming up. Do you want to do a show next Saturday on Kentucky or hold off? Or because we need to pick up our rural thing too at some point.
Yeah. What's the date? What's Saturday's date?
I'm available.
Okay, I am too. Maybe we
I'm
can,
looking
let's
at the
see.
date. Next Saturday's date is November 29th.
Yeah, I should be. Let me check with the Minister of Domestic Affairs here and
Hi, Dave.
see what we got going on. I should be. I don't see why I wouldn't be. I know that we're going to visit some family Thanksgiving, local family, like my kids, one of my kids, but I'm not sure if that's going to be on a Friday or the Saturday. And if it's the Saturday, I'm pretty sure I'll be home because I don't drive at night unless you want to see me hitting various objects and people. So I should be back by then.
Okay, that would be good. We'll do that, and then we'll pick up, the other stuff I've been talking about, like every other. It's just been so freaking busy in my life lately. But speaking of driving at night, I haven't for quite a while. And going back from that ghost hunt, it's like 2 a.m, and we had to drive 25 miles, and then the rain starts coming. Now that town got flooded out severely, like a month ago, and it started coming out down all over again. So we're driving like probably 30 miles an hour through the canyon to get to this Airbnb.
Dark is bad enough, but if it's raining at night, I can't see a thing. I literally have to pull over and wait how many minutes, hours, days until sunlight shows up.
Yeah, and this highway that we were on, they were still reconstructing it because it had collapsed from the, a side of it had collapsed from the last flood. So we were like crossing our fingers, and but it ended up being very interesting. So I will be sharing that with you guys too as soon as I get the video compiled and put together, which is a lot of work.
Looking forward to that.
Knowing how long it takes to upload this stuff and then to edit it. These people that have like paranormal shows like every week, there's a part of me, it's like, okay, a lot of this is fake, but even if it is fake, just the sheer amount of hours they have to put in to put it up, whether it's fake or real, it's pretty
Yeah. Does it have anything to do with your connection speed?
No, it just takes a long time because I had somebody on a really fast one and they couldn't get it up either. So it just takes a long time because we've got like 5 or 6 cameras all uploading our evidence. So, okay. Crystal doesn't drive at night anymore either.
There
Smart. All right, y'all. I want to thank our guests for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the people that visited us tonight. That was really fun. So we will see you next Saturday on the Kentucky Paranormal Highway. So get your bourbon and we'll be set.
Right on.
I'll take that advice.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Guys.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, El. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And we will be talking soon. All right.
We will.
Take care.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes in our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.